Hey, Angela here from Mala. Today I'm going to show a simple sequence that I've been teaching in the yoga and core integration class. Right, this is a great sequence to help you connect your hips and your deep core. What you'll need for this is a resistance band, although you can do this without one. The resistance band gives great external feedback, a yoga mat, and 2 blocks. We're going to start on all fours with the band on the feet. And you want to let the band get to the top of the arch of the feet. Once you press the tops of the feet down, you're going to push out into the band, and the hands are going to come onto the mat underneath the shoulders. All right, we'll set the blocks aside for a little bit later. Begin here to take some cat and cow stretches. So working extension and flexion of the spine. Don't worry about when you're inhaling right now and when you're exhaling. This is a little bit more of just to get the body moving and to notice if there's anything that's feeling sticky in the body right now, or perhaps a stretch that's feeling really good. After a few rounds of cat and cow, you can go off the sagittal plane. So you can side bend and look over one shoulder, you can side bend, look over the other shoulder. You can start shifting your weight from side to side and even forward and back, right? Especially if the wrists are feeling a little cranky, if you've been at the computer all day, or you just know that you hold tension in the hands. You can even change up the hand position, but keep pushing out into the band because that's going to start getting the outer hips to wake up. Right? Once you feel like you've got a good balance between all sides of the body, front, back, right, left, you can go ahead, walk the hands forward of the shoulders, tuck the toes, and just lift the knees up off the ground, coming into a downward facing dog pose. Down, down dog, your heels are off the ground. So as you push out into the band, you want to imagine that you're squeezing a block between your heels. You can do this with straight legs or bent knees. Press the hands into the mat to feel as though you're going to push the mat away from you, to once again lift up out of the arms. Keep serratus anterior fired. Come back to all fours, lining up the hands underneath the shoulders. This time, keep the feet in a dorsiflexion, meaning the toes are tucked behind you. Think about a wrap of your transverse abdominis. So if I disengage my transverse, my belly kind of can go to the floor there, and I go into extension of the low back. From here, I want to think about drawing my pubic bone towards the navel and then wrapping the transverse to lift my organs away from the mat. Shifting the weight into the right leg, I'm going to extend the left leg back behind, right, keeping that left leg straight, pressing through that left heel. On an exhalation, lift the left leg into the air. Right, this is to get the glute and the hamstring to work together while keeping that core nice and engaged. Inhale, lower the leg down. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Keep pressing through that inner left heel. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. And exhale, lift. Release the left knee down and switch sides. Take the right leg back behind you. Again, both ankles are in a strong dorsiflexion. You're going to lift the right leg into the air once to get into that glute and hamstring connection here, as well as keep the deep core integrated. Inhale, lower down. Exhale, lift up. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. And exhale, lift. Release the right knee down. Once again, tuck the toes, lift the knees up. Come back to a downward facing dog position. Inhale, come forward to a plank pose. Shoulders over the wrists here. Draw the pubic bone towards the navel. Slowly lower down to the floor. You can always put your knees down first and then come down with ease. Pressing the tops of the feet down into the mat. Push out into the band. Remember those glute meads, those outer hip firing, right? This helps us connect to the glute hamstring connection as I extend the spine away from the yoga mat here. Take a few breaths here. You can roll out the wrists. Exhale, release the forehead down. Tuck the toes behind you. Press the knees firmly into the ground. Try and cat the lower back. So pull the navel away from the floor. Press the hands and knees into the ground at the same time. Come up to hands and knees and lift back, downward facing dog. Slowly walk the feet forward towards the middle of your mat. Bend the knees. You can walk your hands towards your feet. Remove the band off the feet right now and set that aside. Hang over your legs for a few breaths. Maybe shake the head out. Don't worry about straight legs here. Breathe in. And breathe out. Pressing down into the yoga mat. So from the big toe mound to the little toe mound, to the center of your heels, knees bent, reach the chest forward in space. Remember when you came away from the floor in your cobra pose, that lift and engagement of the glutes and the hips here, that wrap of the transverse when you were in your plank position. Push the floor away, come all the way up to stand. Got the feet on the ground. If you're not at the top of the mat, go ahead and step to the top of your mat or forward in space if you're at the back of your mat. Simple lunges here. Bend the knees, reach the arms forward in space. Shift the weight into the right leg and step the left foot back to a high lunge pose. So the arms can come up here. And when we lift the arms up, we're still looking for that wrap of the transverse. We're gonna push the right foot into the floor. Inhale, straighten the front leg. Exhale, bend the front knee, looking to keep the gaze, the ribs, the hips forward in space. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. And exhale, bend. Bring the hands to the hips, lean the body forward in space. At this point, if your lunge feels too short, you can always make it longer. Leaning forward puts more load into that right leg. So now my right hip is super fired so that I don't fall to the left here. Reach the left arm to the front of the room. Reach the right arm to the back of the room. A little bit of a kind of a long glide position here. And then from here, you're gonna rotate the spine to the right, bring the left hand down, reach the right arm up. Now if you get there, you're like, ugh, I can't quite reach the floor. That's where that block nearby is super handy. And I've got a wall right here, so I'm gonna press my fingers into the wall to help assist with this rotation. So it's not about getting my arm behind me, but it's about rotating the spine. From there, go ahead, release the right hand down, simply step the left foot forward, fold into the legs. Bend the knees, inhale, reach the chest forward. Again, find that wrap, that lift of the hip points as you come all the way up to stand. Bend the knees, reach the arms straight ahead. Shift the weight into the left leg as you step the right foot back. Reach the arms up, high lunge pose. And you notice when I reach my arms up, I put a little bend in my back knee because it gives release to the pelvis so I can lift the front of the pelvis up here. Inhale, straighten the front leg. Exhale, bend the front knee. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. One more time. Inhale, straighten. Push the floor away from you with that left foot. And exhale, bend. Bring the hands to the hips. Lean the body forward in space. So I've got one line from the crown of my head to my right heel. And I am pressing out through the right heel as much as I'm pressing down into the left. Reach the right arm forward and the left arm back. Go for that reach, that length here. Rotate the spine to the left. The right arm's gonna come down. Again, if the floor seems too far, grab that block. Place it into the right hand and reach the left arm up. I don't have a wall on this side, so I'm going to really focus on drawing the arms into the shoulder sockets, engaging my right glute, and rotating the spine. Release the left hand down. Step the right foot forward. Fold into the legs one more time. Bend the knees. Reach the chest forward in space. Just reach the hands to the hips and slowly come all the way up. Here's the fun bit. You're going to grab your blocks, place them on the lowest height, and step onto the blocks. So now I've just changed my height. I made myself taller, so it's gonna be a little trickier when it comes to balancing. Right? My eyes are not used to seeing things from this height. Doesn't matter where your hands go, wherever feels best to support your balance here. You're gonna shift your weight into the right leg and pull the left knee up into half march. Now, one of the things that happens when we pull the knee up, we lean back in space to try and get that knee higher. I'm going to encourage you, keep your shoulders coming forward and think about that wrap of the transverse or that soup can muscle. Now, from half march, we're going to step back to a high lunge. Bend your standing leg, take the pelvis closer to the floor, and step back. And you have to lean forward to take that step back. Simple enough, right? Now you got to go back to half march. So leaning forward, the push down, this ensures I'm going to push down into the block to come back to my half march position. Once again, back to high lunge. So I'm challenging my balance, my proprioception here. Come back to half march. I'm challenging not only the hamstring and the glute, but the quadriceps and the pelvic floor and those deep core abdominal muscles. One more time, come back to half march. Breathe. One more time, go back to high lunge. Now, from high lunge, work to straighten out the front leg. Don't worry if it doesn't go all the way straight. Your leg is now higher than the back leg. Spin the back heel to the floor, a little balancing act. Come into warrior two. So as we raise the right foot up in the warrior two, you might feel that you can actually go a little bit deeper in the pose, or that there's a little less pull on the inside of the leg. Reaching the arms out to the sides, thumbs to the ceiling, breathe here. Now, as you press the right foot down, feels like you could pull the block back towards your left foot here. Breathe and notice if, like me, you're getting a little winded. Take another breath in here. On your next exhale, we're gonna bring the right forearm to the right thigh. Just go for a little bit more extension on the side body. Right, you might feel a little bit of an increased stretch now on the inside of the right leg. As you press the right arm down, you're gonna hug both hips in and rotate the spine. Coming back out of this to warrior two. Bring the hands to the hips. Now, this is a tricky bit. Heel toe your back foot in a little bit, and then lift the back heel up to spin the pelvis forward. So once again, you're in this high lunge position, and that right leg is burning on me right now, so you might have that same kind of burn. Reach the arms forward, lean forward, half march. Good thing we only have two legs. So, second side, standing on the left leg, hands wherever best supports you, draw the right knee up for your half march position. We're looking for the head, the shoulders, the hip, and the ankle to be stacked here. Right, bend your standing leg, send the right leg back, come back to your high lunge pose. You know what you're doing. Lean the body forward in space, pull the right knee forward, half march. Step the right foot back, high lunge. Notice if that leg that you're standing on is starting to wobble. Are you rolling on the ankle? Is it the knee that's starting to move on you as you transition? It's in the transitions that we tend to lose where we are in space, right? So taking this nice and slow will be helpful. Last high lunge here, you're gonna straighten the front leg just a little bit to bring the back heel down and come into your warrior two position. Arms to the side, thumbs to the ceiling, right? Press the left foot into the block. Feels like you're gonna pull the block towards the back of the mat, right? Outer right hip strongly engaged. Bring the left forearm to the left thigh, reach the right arm alongside the right cheek. Go for this variation of extended side angle. Take a breath in and take a breath out. Inhale, come back up to your warrior two. Place the hands on the hips. You're gonna heel toe the back foot in a little bit. Pick the back heel up, step it. So you're back to the high lunge. One more time, half march. Breathe, release the right foot down. You can stay on your blocks and just hang over the legs, or you can step off the blocks and hang over the legs. You can shake the head out no, or yes. Put your hands on the blocks and step back to downward facing dog. Take a breath in here. Release the knees down to the ground. Release the hips back onto the heels. You can set the blocks up for your forehead and take a little child's pose. So that is a short sequence to help you build strength in the hips, connect to the core, and get moving. Hope you enjoyed.